Okay, this is improving. It's definitely getting a little bit better. I think the improvisation section is a lot more effective. The one thing that I will note is kind of not quite there yet is sometimes I will accidentally not play the low B or the low C sharp loud enough or strong enough for it to be heard and to actually mean something, right? So that's something that I need to work on, because that part in the improvisation section, the what's happening at the beginning of every measure, so landing on a B and then landing on a C sharp, that is like the most important part. And so if that is dropping, then the audience is absolutely going to hear it, right? If I sort of like make some sort of small mistake in the flute part after that, it's not a whole, it won't be a whole thing, right? It's not going to be a big deal. As long as I land on that B and I land on that C sharp, it's going to sound good. And I was getting kind of close to not doing that the whole time. Now, it's always important when you're working on a piece to understand it, especially when it's improvised. When it's improvised, things are always going to go wrong. It's never going to be perfect, right? And that's the nature of improvisation. That's kind of the cool part about improvisation, is that it's not going to be perfect. But it's important to know what is essential to get right and what can kind of, be imperfect from time to time. One thing in this style that has to be right all the time is the ankle bell. The ankle bell always has to be right, or else it's going to lose its groove. And this is inherently groove music. So it's always important that the ankle bell is right. Now, the other thing that's important is that the groove is present in the flute. Now, the groove is created, in this case, in the improvisation section, through that low B and the low C sharp. So as long as those two things are there, it's going to be a fairly effective improvisation. And I'll demonstrate this real quick. I'll do just the improvisation section, and I'm going to show you first the essential parts, right? So I'm just going to be playing the essential parts. Then I'm going to basically like embellish those essential parts. This is a great way to practice improvisation, to kind of build it up, right? So we start with small embellishments, maybe adding a note here and there, and then we build it up until it really sounds like a full improvisation. So I'm going to try that real quick. Just going to start right on the improvisation section, and for a little bit, you're only going to hear the essential parts, the parts that I think are essential to this piece. And then I'm going to add the embellishment a little bit later. So I wanted to demonstrate what it actually sounds like to get rid of one of the essential parts. In the beginning, I showed you all of the essential parts. So the ankle bell with the B and the C sharp. And then I embellished it a little bit and I built it up, but then all of a sudden I took out the B and the C sharp. And notice how quickly the tune just drops off. All of a sudden it just sounds kind of like random, aimless improvisation, when before it felt like a really coherent and like specific sound, right? It sounded like this piece, this unnamed piece that I composed. So that's kind of the cool thing about this. The cool thing about having these small essential parts that don't take up a lot of I guess, like space in the music. It doesn't take up a lot of space, but when it drops out, it's noticeable, right? So now I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to not drop it out at all and see if I can build the improvisation quite a bit more without dropping out with that B and the C sharp. And I think you'll see how much more effective this is. So obviously, setting aside the slightly less graceful landing back into the melody, I think that improvisation is quite a bit more, it's a little bit more coherent, and it's more applicable to this tune specifically, right? So it doesn't just sound like a random improvisation that could have been filmed for any style of music, any song. It's really specifically for this song, which I think is really important when you're playing a bunch of pieces that are fairly similar in style, right? All of these are just flute and ankle bell tunes in a bunch of different meters. And so it's important that each of these pieces, especially the improvisation sections, sound unique to themselves.